Welcome back, squad running backs that you should draft in 2024. Let's go. Like I said, some running backs you need to draft in 2024. Let's just rip right into it. Up first, we have Cincinnati Bengals Zack Moss. Now, Chase Brown is there, I know, and it's a different team, I know. I still think the Bengals have a very good offense, obviously. Chase Brown is there, like I said. I'm not super worried about it. Moss will still get the goal line work, and he'll still be the lead back. ESPN has him as RB31. In the 4 games without Jonathan Taylor last season, he had a 22, a 20, a 9, and a 33 at running back. He had some very good finishes without Jonathan Taylor. He averaged over 4.3 yards per carry last season. He had 5 touchdowns, which is a little bit low. I think that number goes up. I think he could easily crack the top 25, if not higher. Zack Moss could play. This one will not be a surprise to most people. Zamir White. ESPN has him as RB27 next season, and I think he can definitely match that or outperform that. In the 4 games he played in where he started, he had a 17, a 14, a 13, and a 15. And I'm not saying he's the best running back on the planet, but he's on the Raiders, who are going to have Minshew, I think, or O'Connell compete for that job. They're going to move the ball. They still have Devontae. They still have Jacoby Myers. And something interesting, they have Alexander Mattison. And Madison was not good last year, if you watched him. I know I had him on my team. He is fine. He's fine. He had 0 rushing touchdowns last season. I'm not super worried about the backup. I think at worst, this is a 60-40 split. Zamir's going to get the goal line work. He's going to get most of the pass catching in my mind. I mean, Madison had, God, how many drops last season? It was terrible. I'm in on Zamir White. ESPN has him as RB40. It's Ty Chandler. Now, Aaron Jones just got picked up. I know and I understand. I see Ty Chandler as a better A.J. Dillon in this situation. Chandler didn't get a lot of work till week 14, and he competed with Alexander Mattison and everyone and their mom in Minnesota, but he did good when he was on the field. And yes, he's the backup, but there's 2 things I love about his situation. 1, Aaron Jones is now 30 years old, and Aaron Jones is electric. He's still very good. Would still draft Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is not going to take 80% of the snaps, right? That's never been his game. That won't be his game. Jones averaged a 50% snap share, a 49 technically percent snap share last season. And I don't foresee that going up dramatically. At most, maybe he hits 60, maybe. He's still electric. He's still very good, and he's going to get a lot of work. I don't trust him to be, the Josh Jacobs gets 299 carries a year, right? He's not going to be that guy. He's not CMC. Jones missed a lot of time with an injury last season, and while I don't think that'll happen again, I still think Ty Chandler can get out some goal line work. I still think he'll get mixed into that offense 40, 30, maybe even 50% of the time. He's still a good running back. They still like him in Minnesota. He's like the one that they kept on that team. Chandler averaged 4.5 yards per carry last season. I still like him. Again, not a top 10, not a top 20, but he's a good backup option, and I like him just in general because of Jones's age and kind of style of play. This last one is probably my favorite and probably the craziest one in my mind. It's Rico Gathers. Rico, according to ESPN, is not in the top 50 right now. They have him behind Blake Corum, the backup for the Rams. They have him behind Chuba Hubbard. They have him behind Miles Sanders right now, the 3rd or 4th string on the Panthers. That's crazy. You have the number 1 or number 2 on the Dallas Cowboys high-powered offense, not ranked. That's crazy to me. I am screaming at the value right now at Rico. He will likely be not the goal line back, to be fair. Zeke, I think, will secure that role. But Zeke is getting older. He's not going to be able to take 70, 80, 90% of the snaps like he used to. They want to mix in other guys. And maybe Deuce gets some work here. Maybe Zeke takes some more carries away. But Rico, I think, is still going to average 10, 12 carries a game at worst, right? Like, not inside the top 50 is crazy to me. Again, I'm not saying take him as your RB1. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 play. But he's basically free, and he's going to produce more than he's not, right? Let's look at the numbers. So Rico didn't play much last year, to be fair, but let's look at when he did play. Against the Giants, he had 12 carries for 79 yards. He averaged 6.5 yards a carry, and he finished with 13 fantasy points. That was on less than 30% snap share. Last game of the season, he played Washington, Against Washington, he had 4 targets, 3 catches, 9 for 46, average over 5 yards a carry, finished with 13 fantasy points. And again, that's on a 36% snap share. We are less than half right now. Against Philly, 12 for 46 with a touchdown, 3.5 yards per carry, a little bit lower, but he finished with 12.2 fantasy points. He's not going to get you 30 points in a week. I don't foresee that happening. But if he gets 3 catches a game, and if he runs for 12 for 50 and maybe gets in the end zone, I mean, that gets you at least top 50, right? If not top 40, if not top 30. If not, I think he's severely undervalued right now. I think you need to go get him if you can. He's a good runner. Zeke is getting older. Dallas is still a good team. They're going to score, and they're going to have to move down the field. Cost you like nothing. Go pick up Rico. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have anyone on your list you'd like to see more of. Should be a good time. Season's coming soon. We're excited. Let's go. Peace out.